Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Angela Rockstar.
And I'm Nick G.
I'm Colin Smith.
And I'm Ian Carlos Crawford, and today we are here to talk Angel Season 3, Episode 4, Carpe Noctem. I forgot to write down, I looked up a definition of that, but I forget.
It's the night.
I assume seize the night?
Yeah.
Like seize the day?
Carpe diem. Right.
Do you need me to go get a book of Latin translations off of my shelf? Because
I was going to be like, Nick, you got a book, right? To tell you what it is?
Don't leave Latin in front of the books.
What did we think of this episode as a whole, revisiting it? Nick, what'd you think?
Mid.
Yeah.
I have feelings about this season, and I will be happy when season 4 rolls around.
Oh, shit.
Mm.
Colin, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It was better than I remember being. I mean, it's not the best of the body swap episodes that Buffy does, but I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I agree. Angela, what'd you think?
I loved it. I remember watching it when it aired, for the first time. And I remember, I told Colin this before we were recording, but I remember as a young Angela thinking, wow, David Boreanaz can really act. During this particular episode. Because, it's just so, smarmy Angel. It's funny to me. I don't know. This one is funny to me. It's a really funny episode. And I remember thinking, yes, this is acting. He is, because you could think wow, this guy is probably typecast as Angel. This is probably how he is. He's probably just a silent, good-looking, stylishly dressed guy that doesn't really say a lot. But I don't know.
We actually just talked about this in the earlier recording. I feel like David Boreanaz, when he gets to be goofy, is probably how he is in real life.
Yeah, probably.
Because the acting isn't always 100%, but he does do the goofy kind of well, and I feel like that's because it's probably
who he is.
Yeah, Colin, I'm with you. I like this episode more than I remembered. I feel like Angel has this weird thing where it's usually has kind of a dull start, Angel seasons, and then once the story kicks in more, they pump up a little bit. But I gotta say, I thought this season so far, I've been okay, these are lesser episodes, but they're not as bad as some of the beginning season episodes are. Because even 3 and 5 are my favorite, and I think 5 also has a rough start at the beginning. It doesn't get its full bearings till a little. Nick, I forget, you hate 5, right?
No, I love 5.
Okay, I always
5. Oof.
I feel 5 is weirdly sometimes I say I love 5 and people are why? That's the worst season. It's not Angel. Or people.
It's a brand new show, really.
I mean, it is, but I think it works.
But it's great.
Angela, I know you're going to agree with this sentence. I think adding Spike to the group really ups the dynamic.
It brings a completion level to the show. It just ends a balance, a needed balance. I can't wait, but
And I think they have a really David Boreanaz and James Marsters are really good bouncing off of each other.
Great chemistry.
Yeah. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But yes, this episode, Nick, I am very curious your take on Fred, because I said this before that Fred takes a little bit for me to love her.
Yeah.
I don't love the skittish whatever version with the very thick accent that is slowly going away as the season progresses. I'm curious your take on this this version of Fred.
I'm looking at all of my notes about Fred. My first note is Fred was a pick-me.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Fred is one of my favorite characters in the Buffyverse, and Amy Acker, in my eyes, can do no wrong. And
great.
actually, rewatching this, I was like, she can act. I had that David Boreanaz moment, but for Amy Acker again. Yeah, it's a really rough start, and it kind of feels like they didn't know what they wanted to do with her character.
Yeah.
And it took them a really long time to figure that out. All characters, I like Willow, my fave, right? Where she starts and where she ends, there are a lot of ups and downs, but you can kind of see she's the same person at the end.
Yeah.
You can draw the line how she got there. Fred is just like, hold on, she's a dumb country bumpkin, but then also becomes a super scientist / god.
Right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, we all lose our accents when we go to a city, but like, come on.
I feel like my Jersey accent must have gotten worse lately because I have had a lot of people pointing it out more than ever. No one say yes or no because I don't want to hear a yes. But yeah, it's like, but we also know she's really smart from the Pylea
Yeah.
arc. But then here we're just like,
Hard erase.
yeah. Angela, what do you think of Fred?
I remember watching it and I thought, like, what is this? Like you said, like a goofy bumpkin, like, and then rewatching it because I know what's coming. So I'm just kind of like, they really didn't know what they were doing here with this character. But rewatching it, I was like, wow, Fred was a homie hopper for real. Like, she went through the whole clip. Like, I forgot that she was up on Angel. And up until watching this, I was like, nah, Fred, for real. Like, I forgot about that.
Colin, you have a better, like, you and Nick both have a way better memory of, they drop this, right? Like, pretty quickly, don't they? Like, Fred
That she's in love
crushing
with
her?
Angel?
like
Like after this episode, after he has
Yeah,
that
in the
okay.
episode.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
she's-
I didn't remember that either.
Wait, you mean the romance or that country bumpkin? accent?
Like, well,
The
both.
romance.
I know they dropped the accents because even
I mean-
Colin was on for the first episode, and right, even in this episode, it's like
It's-
lessened.
It's
markedly
gone by the
gone,
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she still has like the crush on him and adores him, because he saved her and all that. But yeah, no, she, after this episode, she's very clearly not.
Okay.
She knows he's
Yeah.
not interested and doesn't pursue it or anything.
That's what I thought. And I mean, I did feel bad for her when she's crying because Nick, to your point,
Because
like
Amy Acker is such a good
She's so
actor.
good.
You feel so many feelings for her.
yes. It's like, even though it's like, oh, this annoying, like, weirdo country bumpkin, maybe scientist, but like, oh, but she's sad. I'm sad. We open this episode with Fred trying to socialize. I think Amy Acker does a lot with what they're giving her, right? I think this character could have been fucking annoying played by a different actor. The way they're presenting her here, she's still a little bit annoying, but like in a charming way where you kind of feel bad for her, right? It's like, oh, I want her to be able to socialize. And I just like, I kept thinking like, there's a version of this where like no one likes Fred, where it's like, God, this character like is like cousin whatever from Brady Bunch, like, ugh, get her off screen. But it's not, because Amy Acker's lovely. So in case anyone yells at me, I am saying I love her.
We can edit that to say you don't. That's fine.
In case anyone wants to yell at me, I hate her. Ashley puts a voiceover in of her saying it. She's trying to socialize. Everyone's a little bit annoyed with her. And then Angel comes out all excited about a Charlton Heston double feature. My notes, because I take them like as I'm watching, I was like, the fuck is this? His old ass asking about Charlton Heston. And I'm like, oh, right, they did that because then the old man takes his body. So yeah.
Also, it's for the first of many reminders that Angel is actually the grumpy old man.
Yes.
He will always be the grumpy old man. Charlton Heston to him is like, I don't know, I was going to make a teen reference. I was going to say like Zac Efron, but he's now in his 30s. I don't know. Charlton Heston was like the hot dude of the day.
Whatever teenagers are doing these days.
Whatever the kids want.
Yeah, like, and it's funny that like he is genuinely excited about, like,
He's thrilled by it, and no one else is willing to give him the time of day.
Yeah,
and I have fucking never heard the saying he says when he says the worm has started to turn, because I know that we're like then presented with Fred has no idea what that saying is and goes along with it. And I was like, but I also don't know what this saying is.
Wait, is that a real phrase?
I assume it is the way they, because it's like everyone knows what it is but Fred, and that's the joke. Because I was like, the fuck is, I've never heard someone say that, but maybe it's like an older expression. Anyway, we get this little like intro, whatever. Then we cut to a man in his hotel room, and he's just finished having sex. And then what happens to him, Colin?
He flexes in the mirror, and it looks really good. And then his soul leaves his body, and he looks confused. And then he melts into a pile of skin and flesh, and it's gross.
The effects are so goofy when it's like the
it looks
face
so
is just
bad.
kind of like, yeah. Like, I feel like that's something like someone did on a phone. Like,
Yeah. But I bet at the time everyone's like, how did they do that?
yeah. Post credits, we see Fred is exciting, telling Wesley all about her date with Angel, and then Cordy has a talk with Angel. Angela, I'm curious. I forget. Do you like Angel and Cordy together? I can't remember.
I don't dislike them together.
Okay.
I don't really have a I always like I mean of course like we love Cordy, but like I grew to love Cordy even more as she
Yeah.
goes on, as her character develops, because she was just kind of a vapid, like, you know. But I
Bingo,
do
yeah.
like them together. I do, I think, yes.
We're thinking through it. Nick, what do you think of them together?
Okay. So as a kid who used to read a lot of like girly YA romance as an adult, I'm just
Nothing
like,
wrong
why
with
do
it.
you yeah, I there's nothing wrong with having your leads just be friends and the just like, oh well, what do we do with these characters? Romance plot line. I'm just like, we don't have to. It's still a good story without that. So
That is fair. That is fair. I do often really like stories of like friendship. Like I like Willow and Buffy
yeah,
for me, like that is like, and by the end of that show, they are the co-main characters. So it's like these are the main characters.
totally.
It's weird. When I was younger, I hated them together, but as an adult, I think they feel like the most genuine adult relationship on the show. Like I had Jaina Spenson on for Earshot when we covered it for the 25th
Mm.
anniversary, and she very much even said like, oh, we aged Cordy up way more than we aged everyone else up because she went to Angel and it was like supposed to be more adult, and we just could not have a teenager working a private investigator, like as a private
Yeah.
investigator with him.
Yeah, she definitely feels like a peer, and she feels like she's in her 30s at this point, and
Yeah.
it's only 2 years after high school. Like
Right.
maybe she's 21
Yeah,
in the
maybe.
show. But it's moments like this, right, where well, actually, it's the moment where she has a heart to heart with Angel and is like, Angel, you need to tell her. And she comes back to it. And the way that she like comforts and sort of guides Fred throughout the episode, like she's a girl's girl. She really cares.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing I like about this, because for a second, I was like, oh, is she doing this because she's jealous? And I was like, no, she's not. She genuinely knows that Angel has no feelings for Fred, does not want Fred to get more hurt by this like puppy dog crush she has. And I like that we get Cordelia. She's always been insightful, but she's become insightful without having to be biting. And it's like a subtle character change, which I love, because
Yeah.
she's still her.
I do love when she's gassing Angel up about, you're handsome, you're brave, and then she's like, but you're also sulky and
Yes.
awful, and sometimes you're evil, you're a eunuch.
I was gonna say I love that. Like because she knows him so well at this point. Like they have such a like long history together that like she knows his good qualities. She also knows his really fucking terrible qualities. I like that she says all of them, because she starts with like, you're handsome, you're blah blah blah,
And
then
you
is
can
like,
see the way he's like loving it.
yeah. I like the fact that I do feel like they become best friends before they start becoming romantic. And I am a hard sell on a romance, I will say, but if that's the type, then I'm usually like, all right, I'm into it. Yeah, if it's like friends turn lovers or like enemies turn lovers, but not if it's just like we're lovers and blah, like then I'm bored.
I also like that it hasn't been 2 seasons of will they, won't they with them. Like it's genuinely, they become close friends, they have a good working relationship and all that. And then it develops into a romance versus...
That has no happy ending.
Well,
I don't watch these shows for their happy endings.
Verse, like,
yeah, true.
Do?
I just remember when Zach started in season 1 and I mentioned that they don't end up together, and he was like, you talk about that couple all the time. What do you mean they don't end up together? I was like, well, they kind of almost do, but the way Angel distracts them from talking to Fred is he reads the newspaper and he's like, oh, look, this guy died in his hotel room. And Wes notices there's been other ones. We go to Wolfram and Hart and we check in with Lila. We do a lot of these like little scenes but I appreciate them because I think Lila's fucking a joy to watch on screen.
Absolutely, she is.
Right? She's like, we were discussing this in the previous episode. It's like, she's hot, she's confident. Sometimes she is a little bit like, oh, I'm doing something evil. But then other times she's like, whatever, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that. And like, you also don't hate her, right? Like, I don't know.
love
It's
Lila.
like, yeah, it's like, I know she's evil, but like, I enjoy watching her. Like,
Great villain.
yeah.
And she has
I let-
no time for Gavin.
She fucking hates him immediately. And I love it. I like that she's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Fight him with building code violations? Which, to be fair, she's not wrong. Like, that is kind of, oh, a vampire's really gonna care about that.
I love it. That's my favorite. The banality of lawyers grinding away at their evil game, but they're doing it through like red tape. It's just like a hilarious joke to me. I find it hilarious that they keep coming back to.
Nick, that does track.
Yeah, well, yeah. Get with the rules, you guys.
Lila says something which I actually only just now connected in my notes. I didn't even occur to me because she tells her secretary, like, call the artist. And the secretary's like, what? She's like, the forger, under F for forger. I'm just now realizing that means the documents weren't. So I figured, like, well, she's a lawyer at a demon agency. Of course they can just get all the right documents done.
Yeah.
But
No, she just wants to fuck over Gavin.
Literally just to fuck. She's just like, their worst enemy is she's going to help because she hates this guy that's competing with her.
And I think it's because he's not as fun to compete with as Lindsay was. So she's just like, well, we're just going to fuck him. And
her and Lindsay kind of had more of a bond, right? Like, I feel like they didn't really like each other, but they knew they were kind
they
of...
respected each other enough.
Yeah, and I feel like they also knew they were both in the same, like, if you fuck up, Wolfram and Hart is going to kill both of you. So they kind of, like, got that.
Wait, remind me where Lindsay is at this point.
He's gone. He left.
Totally
He
gone?
just drove away in his truck.
Yep.
Like his weird tattoos in his not hand.
That's
situation?
when he comes back in season 5.
He did have his not hand when he left.
Right.
Okay,
But
got
the
it.
tattoos is when he returns.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He had gotten his hand back, though, right before he left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave him an evil hand and then...
It is. I still think that is such a weird thing that it's like he literally gets in a truck and is like, I'm leaving. And then is gone for 2 seasons, but comes back. I feel like Angel falls victim to a lot of this was not planned out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we meet Skip soon, and I still fully believe that was a like rewrite for season 4. Because I read some interview where they were like, someone said that was always the plan, and I was like, there's no way that was like the Jasmine, and that was always the plan. And I'm like, I don't think so. Doesn't feel that way. So yes, she's gonna get the forger to do documents. The gang splits up. They want to investigate. Cordy talks to Angel again about avoiding Fred. But then they get to the gym and she takes off her blazer because she knows she looks good with it off and is like, I'm gonna go talk to these hot men, which
she does.
She does.
I'm gonna go ask if he knows anything. I thought that was hilarious.
Angela, it wouldn't not be you or I if we were part of an investigation team.
Right.
Like, can I talk to the hot ones over there? Cool.
They have
Yeah,
some
we do that.
information that we need, I'm sure.
We see Angel just kind of like, he gets approached by the dude at the gym, which I appreciated that's kind of accurate when the guy's like, hey, Angel, I got a great deal for you, and just tries to like push the like gym membership on him. Angel doesn't know what Pilates are, and I was like, who the fuck doesn't? Oh, wait, it was like 2000, so I guess maybe, right? They weren't as like common.
That's like when he makes the joke that it's like, oh, it's like Taibo. And he's like, yeah, if it's 1999. I'm like, isn't this only like 2001?
Right.
So last season.
I was like, what the fuck year is this? He then notices there is a like man peeping. It's very like, what am I thinking of? Alfred Hitchcocky with like the way the like
window?
Yes. Yeah. Where like the glasses are like the reflection. So we meet our main protagonist, which is this old man. Marcus, yeah. Angel goes to talk to him. I can't decide if I love or hate the like... it tracks because he's like this like grumpy old man who's like stealing people's bodies, but he's like, oh, I don't notice the guys. I'm a girl watcher. And then later when he's like,
such a creep.
Oh no, he's a smarmy, creepy. I've met that guy. Met that guy old. I met that guy young. That's a real person.
Angela, I've met him old. I've met him young. Oh God. Nick, what do you think about Marcus?
Yeah, no, he's a creep. But again, I think it's funny. There's so many comparison points between the two of them because this is, a body swap episode. And I'm just like, but without the creepiness, I think Angel and Marcus would actually have a lot in common.
Probably. That Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
And like, it feels like this episode, they knew what they wanted to do with it. The plot was almost secondary, it feels like, because it's like, yeah. Then this old man does a thing. And it kind of reminded me of, Angela, you might know, Colin, the Chucky, the like stupid chant Chucky does when they're like, because it's like nonsense, just real quick, whatever, sure. And like, doesn't matter. It's just, what it's doing. That's what I kept thinking of.
But once he starts chanting in another language, Angel just lets him do it. And it's like, oh, you shouldn't cast magic. I feel like you'd be like, no, I'm going to shut this down because there's a shrine and weird objects here.
Like, yeah, I get it if you don't want to fight Peepaw because it's like, well, I don't want him to die if I like hit him, but like maybe just cover his mouth or like
smash the jar or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, though that he takes off his glasses before they swap so that he can headbutt himself.
It's not his first rodeo. He's met 4 younger men before. How is he meeting all these young guys?
At the gym, right?
Oh, he's going.
But he's just watching the gym, right? He can't
is
get
he
out.
going to the gym and then like.
Well, can the spell work long distance? Maybe. Because at the start, when he comes out of the guy's body, they're not in the same spot.
That's true. So maybe if he's like can see the person, he can just
yeah.
Not bad. No, you convinced me. Sure, that's what happened.
I mean, there's no explanation in the text, but we'll go.
He leaves the retirement home, and Cordelia picks him up. She like is kind of like ragging on him for needing to talk to Fred. Peepaw wanted to say faggot so bad, and he's like, obviously.
And this is when David Boreanaz gets to do the most eyebrow acting in the whole episode. He's like,
yeah.
He really does. But it still did make me laugh. I don't know. I was like, is this a problem that I'm laughing at this? But like, I don't know.
It might be, but I also thought it was hilarious. And I love the talk he has with Wes, assuming it's Fred.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yes. I love that this old man kind of hypes himself up. So at the end of it, when he's like, sure, we can hug. He's like, yeah, come on. Like once he realizes like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. Sure, we can hug. And then is like, oh, Fred's a
Fred.
Great. Yeah, I love that talk. And I mean, Angela, as you said, I think that's why I can still be like, oh, this is funny because there are old men like that, right? There just are men who are like, oh, this guy touched his leg, so he's like, oh, and like jumps as if like the like grossest thing in the world just happened. And so I feel like I like the world like not making it this like cool old guy. It's like, no, it's this grumpy shitty old guy.
Wow. Right after, like, the immediate next scene is he goes and he tips Gunn because Gunn brought back food for everybody. Like, this guy is terrible on all fronts.
Person. Yeah.
And Gunn is like, okay, like.
This scene overall bothers me that he's acting so weird. He's clearly out of his element and like doesn't know what's going on, but not one of them clocks that something's wrong.
Absolutely. I was screaming at the TV. I was like, guys.
And I feel like sometimes like Buffy and Angel would do the thing where it's like, they figure like in Intervention when Tara immediately is like, she's a robot. And like they all are just like, oh yeah, she's a robot. Like they all pick up pretty quickly. Or I Was Made to Love You. Yeah. When she picks up that April's a robot. And like there's no previous like robotness on the show. And
there's Ted.
Right, true. I guess
Tara
I was gonna say
didn't know Ted.
I was gonna say that Tara encountered, but yeah, no, I guess they have. But I was in my brain, I remembered this happening for this episode too. Like I was like, oh, the next scene is gonna be Cordy and Gunn being like, oh, he body swapped with someone, but that doesn't happen. Cause yeah, like even the talk he has with Wes, when Wes is like, what the fuck? But then we just kind of move on. But I guess we put the pieces together eventually.
They do. And I enjoy that it's the fact that Lila's brunette, not blonde. That Cody's like, oh, that's out of character.
Yes.
That part, but not the part that he sat down and ate a full burrito and every person in the room was like, why are you eating? And he's like, I'm hungry. And they're like, okay. That,
Like, okay, well, here's some blood.
Right.
Also, I was waiting for there to be. Do we all watch What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
The episode in season 1 when Nadia goes on the date with the guy and he's like, no, the popcorn's good. And she has like one piece of popcorn and then it's like spewing vomit. I kind of was expecting that with Angel because I'm like, but what does happen if he eats? Because like,
I couldn't remember if they had any lore for that thing, but I guess not.
These shows are always fast and loose with their lore. That's
There's that.
Can I just mention something that I thought was hilarious?
Yes.
So he sits down and he has this full burrito. Everyone clocks it as like, whatever, we're just not going to pay attention. And then the next scene is Angel in the old man's body at the retirement home. And his like little old dude friend is like, oh, Marcus, come here. I got to introduce you to my granddaughter. And he hands Angel a burrito wrapped baby. And then Angel's like, and then it's sort of a quick cut, but I'm like, I don't know if they meant that, but I was just like, that's sort of a funny parallel of like Marcus in Angel's body is eating a burrito. And then you're like, yeah, well, Angel doesn't get hungry, does he? Baby.
right. I didn't even think about that. Angel, as Marcus calls the hotel, right?
And Marcus as Angel hangs up on her. It's like,
yeah,
kill my guy.
And then what is it? Cordy says, oh, Cordy's going to go talk to the escorts because the men are all, I forget what she says, like discuss dogs. Yeah. And I do love Marcus as Angel pretending when he's like, women aren't just pieces of meat to me, to like Wesley and Gunn. Because as you said earlier, Angela, I also know men who do that, where it's like, I'm going to be very performative and make you think that I don't think like this, but I do. And Colin, in walks, which of our favorite lawyers walks into the office?
Well, Fred comes in first. Because
Oh, you're right, she does, yes.
He finally gets his face-to-face with Fred and calls her sweetheart and is like, oh, well, go change into something nice, we'll go out. And then Lila walks in.
Right, because that is very important for the end of the scene. Hand up, I was like, this is hot. Like, I would, if I were Lila, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, we hate each other, but yeah, we can fuck on your desk real quick. Like,
absolutely.
I feel like, but wouldn't she be suspicious? Because she's always running like 2-3 games.
True.
She very immediately was like, yeah, okay.
Me.
I mean,
I feel like
I can't blame her.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah, fuck it. You know what? I can murder you tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
We're hot. Let's fuck, and we'll keep up the killing tomorrow.
Throw it all out. It's bad.
And poor Fred walks in on them hooking up on the desk. I gotta point out, this is what a fucking nerd I am. Nick, you'll appreciate this as I know that you notice shit like this too. I have been able to clock every season so far when they do their season promo photo shoots. And this is when they did their season 3 promo photo shoot, because that red dress is what Fred wears in the promo shots, and the like purple mesh top that Cordy's wearing is what she wears. Same thing with Wes and Gunn. So I'm proud of myself for being able to clock that. Each season, it's usually around 3, 4, or 5 that they do their promo photo shoots.
That is... Yeah, you have an encyclopedic knowledge, surprising nobody. Also, that's very fortunate because every outfit they put Fred in is so just horrific. And it was except for that slip dress.
Yes. I feel like they were like,
merciful. We're
putting her in something cute. That's when we're doing the photo shoot.
We won't see this again for another season.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she got like dressed up and you feel bad for her. But then Angel bites Lila and she runs out. I do like that this is like not an issue, right? She just kind of like pulls out her cross, leaves, and
that's it.
She's like, yeah, whatever. Tried to bite me.
He then realizes that something's off about this body because he goes
Right.
to like touch his face and realizes he's vamped out and goes to look in the mirror.
And then goes to the club. I love that that's his like, well,
Okay.
gotta hit the club. Let me do some shots. I like that he changes into like tighter leather pants than Angel normally wears.
He's really succumbed to
He
the
looks
fact
good,
that, you
yeah.
know, angels, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, let's go see what this fag has in his closet.
He picks up a lady, tries to bite her, but some dudes thwart him from doing. I was like, wait, why? I was like, I guess we couldn't have Angel's body kill someone because I guess then that would add more guilt to Angel because it feels like he would have just killed that person like real quickly and would have killed everyone because he could have. But I guess he's just like, Grandpa's having some fun. It's a night out. He doesn't really give a shit. And I guess like, no, I was gonna say, well, it's not like he's killing anyone, but no, he's killing the people he inhabits. So never mind.
He is, yes. I don't think his qualms about killing. I think it's he, took her out, and then when I think it's her boyfriend comes out, and they get in their little fight. He's realizing just what exactly his vampire body can do, and then he's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna go take care of myself because I don't want this to end."
Yeah, that's true. Oh, also, I have to point out when Lila walks into Angel's office, the score that plays sounds just like a Buffy season 3 score that they played on the DVD menu.
Deep cut. Literal.
I tried to look it up to see if it was, but the internet did not tell me.
Ian, yet another time where you know more about Buffy and Angel than the internet knows.
Very proud of
Love
myself.
that.
It does happen some where I'm like, let me validate this thought I'm having, and then I can't find shit about it. And I liked that wording though, Nick. I know more than the internet.
Marcus is heading back to deal with Angel. Angel's been trying to escape to no success throughout the episode, which I love.
It really is like a goofy bit. It's like, Grandpa can only make it so far.
Oh, didn't he has like a heart attack?
Yeah, he pulls the fire alarm and is like right to the door, and then
Finally
collapses.
Was it too much excitement?
I think so.
Yes.
They do mention that he's had a couple heart
Yeah.
I guess, but and then we head back to the hotel. Cordy comes home and finds Fred crying in the elevator.
My poor
And
little
it's very
angel.
sad.
Yeah. And like, to everyone's point, it's like, she's saying he called her sweetheart. That is not Angel. Like, that, all of the things she's saying should be ringing, like, putting up red flags before we even get to, like, she was not blonde.
I do appreciate when Cordy's like, "Oh, he had to talk with you. It was my idea. I'm so sorry." She's like, "You wanted him to make out with that woman on a desk?"
And so then the whole team like reconvenes and what is it? Wesley sees, and I put it in my notes. Is it like he sees the books that are like about vampires, and that's like kind of right?
Leave it to the bookish one to figure it all out.
You know, Nick, that's why you'd always be in my Scooby gang. You'd be, again, like you said about Lila, but that'd be you because you'd have like all the book knowledge in your brain already. And you're like, let me scan through these things that these idiots are still like circling. So we learned that he was reading about vampire lore. The like climax of Angel's there, or Marcus as Angel is there as the son to sign out the dad who is Angel as Marcus. And then him being like, you have no friends, I have 4. And then they all just jump him is so good.
So good.
And I love that our girls, Cordelia and Fred, actually are the ones that like do kick his ass. Like he knocks Gunn and Wes over and they have fucking bats and they just start hitting him and then she tases him. Felt very good.
It did.
Especially because this season they don't give Fred a lot of that. Like she's more like scared and running. And I am glad that we get, an episode where she does get to use a fucking bat and hit him.
She gets a good smacking even after he's unconscious.
Yeah, Angel tells her, stop. Got the point. Like, it's back there.
Yeah, I think that maybe is what confused me because that moment is what I thought was going to happen. Like, that's how we know they figured it out because they approach him. But I feel like that is very like Buffy Angel, right? Where it's like, no, they already know. Yeah, they're good. They kind of very easily are like, yeah, we'll reverse the spell. Great, say this. Yeah, we're good. Smash the thing. And then Does that man die when they're leaving?
It certainly seems like that is what's happening.
Right.
'Cause they do, when Angel has the heart attack, they say if you have one more, that could be it. So,
Yeah.
Right?
Got a man body, and he's stuck there. So.
I just love that they're like, well, bye, good luck, stay blessed, and like the orderlies are running in. They're like, he's having a heart thing. I don't know.
Dad had a rough night or something like that.
Nick, that's you walking out of a gay bar. Like, I don't know what happened.
You're not wrong.
So then we reconvene at the hotel and we get Cordy is sitting with Fred Angel is sitting with Fred. Jesus, Angel
comes out and meets Fred in the
Yeah.
garden.
Cordy already told her about like Angel's.
Yeah. Angel tries to have the talk with Fred, and Fred's like, this is where you tell me all of this, and reveals Cordy already went over it all with her.
And I do like this moment. I think we give, I guess like you said, Colin, I'm glad, great, we're getting rid of that plot line. This is like sweeping it out. I gotta say, when Cordelia runs in and is like, it's Willow on the phone, Buffy's alive. How many times have I fucking seen this? But I was still like,
Yeah.
I do wish, and same thing I had with the first episode where we didn't get Wesley and Cordy's reactions. I almost wish we saw Cordy's, because obviously they couldn't have had Willow scene, but it would have been nice to see Cordy's side of the phone call, like her getting the news and then running out. But I guess it takes away the punch.
The like, I can never decide if I hate it or like, okay, sure. The like way they have to do that in Buffy season 6 and Angel season 3, where it's like at the end of the episode after this or whatever, Buffy's like, I gotta go meet Angel. And then we just like, that's it. I don't know. Nick, I'm curious your opinion on that.
Well, as the keeper of the crossover spreadsheet.
Yes, that is what I called on you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I want more, but I think that's how they keep you watching, is just by giving you little bites. And they're at this point the shows have established they have very separate identities.
Yeah.
So I guess imagining the phone call is left up to my headcanon, and then it's good. Wait, were the shows on the same network at this point?
No. This is the first season where
they couldn't do.
Yeah. There you go.
Crossover.
Yeah.
There is a comic that
has
what happened between the two of them.
But it doesn't say fully. Isn't it them all in the magic box saying what they think might have happened?
Yeah, it's the Scooby speculating, but
because I remember that comic, that being like promoted as like, this will tell you what happened, and being so annoyed that it did not tell me what happened. It was like them all imagining what happened.
This is how I got locked into several seasons of like Buffy season 8, season 9, season 10 comics. Angel on IDW, Angel and Faith on Dark Horse. I'm just a sucker for this stuff.
Nick, I didn't know you also read the Angel and Faith comic. I still think is like truly great.
Oh, and the art is that's a whole separate podcast.
I actually have always been like, I should do like a Frey episode and an Angel and Faith, because we did a like general Buffy comics for the Dark Horse comics, but never like just Angel and Faith or just Frey. And I think great. So Nick, we will eventually do
one shot, the Willow one shot, the whole. I need to live in Sunnydale, Ian. I don't know if you relate to this feeling, and I will take what I can get.
I don't want to.
Okay, fine.
I don't want to be being the bearer of bad news here. But.
Well, not to brag, but to brag, I was just in Sunnydale the other week, and Glory kissed me hello.
Ooh, friends to God.
I was very excited when Claire Kramer like specifically came over to my table and hugged me. She was like, "Oh my God, how are you doing?" And I was like, "I feel very cool right now."
God blessed by a goddess.
Yeah, and in front of everyone too. Oh, Angela, what do you think of the way they do this? I'm definitely a little bit more forgiving because it's just they couldn't do it. But what do you think?
I continuously wish they were able to do more crossovers throughout the whole. And I do think it's cool when some of the characters come over, even apparently Miss McNabb.
Yeah.
Who I guess is just like her character. But I like that. I like how they I wish that they could have done more. I really later in Angel, that like they've got a fake Buffy, like they've got like a stand-it. Like
I
I
hate that.
wish that they could have done it, and I understand. I guess we just use our imaginations and stuff, but
I always think season 5 would have been perfect to bring in. Like, I mean, they bring in Harmony, and she's a great in that season, but like.
yeah.
It was such a perfect opportunity to bring in more characters since there was no more Buffy. Like, Clem would have been a cute character to have pop up, or like, even if they can't get like Sarah Michelle Gellar, like, just I don't know, like any of them popping up would have been like
Andrew
cute.
shows up.
Dawn
Yeah,
is doing college in LA or something, or like
Ooh, I would have liked that plot, Angela.
like Dawn could have gone over there or what, like they could have done.
I do think originally it was supposed to be Dawn in the episode where they like see Buffy from far away, and it's Andrew in the hotel room. That originally it was Michelle Trachtenberg, but she was like got cast in some movie. I think it was the Ice Princess movie, if I recall correctly. And like, so then she couldn't do the guest spot, and they got Tom Lank. But yes, then we end on Fred, and she goes Buffy. And I like the idea that like it makes sense that she would not know who the fuck that is, right? Colin, you have a rebuttal.
She was there when Willow told them about Buffy's death. And
you're
then
right.
Angel was gone for months. I feel like at some point, even when Cordy would have been filling her in on the whole curse and everything, Buffy, she must have heard Buffy's name before.
That's true.
Well, she's just a simple country bumpkin. You can't expect her to remember all these things.
She's not a super smart scientist for another season, Colin.
To go from country arteries and shit.
Yeah. To go from country bumpkin to like PhD candidate in 18 months, it's pretty impressive.
Couldn't be me. I'm still in the country bumpkin part.
I'm still trapped in whatever troll world she was stuck
all right, this episode we actually have some trivia. I do this for the Buffy episodes as we're going through them when they turn 25, but Angel's episodes don't have a lot of trivia. This one has a little bit. The newspaper Angel is reading from in the beginning is like a well-known prop that has been used in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Back to the Future, Silence of the Lambs, No Country for Old Men, Married with Children, That 70s Show, Charmed, Scrubs, Desperate Housewives, Cougar Town, and Modern Family.
Wow.
The spread from like Modern Family to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What's going on in this world?
Right, I would never connect those two at all. It says it's produced by the Earl Hayes Press. And yeah, it's just used in. I love weird shit like that because, right, like I would not. Oh yeah, something used in Texas Chainsaw Massacre would then go to like Back to the Future to Modern. Very weird. And the establishing shot for I don't even know what this is. Alondria Hotel. Now I can't remember what that is in the episode. Do they go to another hotel?
Is it not their hotel? Is that?
It's the one that the guy is in when he's in the guy that turns into a skin suit.
Yeah. You're right. Because it says, is the same establishing shot used for Lindsay's apartment.
Kind of makes sense.
They do that a lot on this show. I actually was thinking the scene where Marcus as Angel beats up those dudes after he bites the lady that he brought outside. That could have been the like building they use for Wolfram and Hart. It's got all the like glass.
It does seem like that. Like in the episode, I guess this is in the future where they take the elevator and they go down to hell.
We already did that. That was season 2. Yeah.
Okay, that's in the past. I don't know time. Like that when he's running away, it looks like it's right around there.
Yeah. Because for that was one of my favorite images I did last season. Now that we are at the end, favorite scene, Angela?
I think that my favorite scene is definitely when Angel thinks that Wesley is Fred.
Fair.
It's hilarious. Great.
Colin, what's your favorite scene?
I'm gonna go with when the gang beats the shit out of Marcus.
Yeah. Nick,
He
what's
had
yours?
it coming.
He did.
I'm gonna say I like the Cordy and Fred heart to heart. I think it's a good scene that like establishes who they're gonna become both in their individual paths and together. But special
Yeah.
shout out, the thing that like is my special focus in TV shows is like props that don't age very well. And when Angel takes the tape out of the answering machine and smashes it, I'm like, yeah, 1999, 2001, I don't know, but I miss answering machines as plot points in shows.
Sorry to incel, but I just caught up on Rick and Morty like recently. I don't know
That's
why I picked up Rick and Morty. I had watched it the first 2 or 3 seasons. I didn't
really
realize
like
how
it.
few seasons are out. What'd you say, Nick?
I really like it. I
Okay,
guess that
yeah.
makes me an incel.
No, I fucking like going through it. I was like, wow, this is even better. Like I stopped watching because I just didn't have cable and it wasn't easy to find on streaming at the time.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, it gets even better as it goes along. But there is an episode, I want to say in like 4 or 5, that ends with an answering machine, like playing messages. And one of the jokes is, I thought we gave up on using answering machines as plot devices. And like, that's one of the messages.
No, I mean, I guess it's excusable in like 2001.
Yeah. Huh. I feel like my dad still has the landline. I mean, no one uses it, but like, that's why when people were mad in Scream 6 that Gail Weathers had a landline, I was like, no, she
would.
of the age that she would still have one. I don't think of her as pushing 60, but like she is.
Right.
Ouch.
Right, Nick? Yes. Sydney Prescott is in her 50s. Gail Weathers is almost 60. Yeah. Oh, that's it. The only 2 bits of trivia. That was it. Thank you to the 3 of you for doing this. This was fun. Angela, thank you for doing this even from your fucking car because you couldn't be at your house.
Many things and many children. So.
Thank you all for listening. This is one of my favorite seasons of Angel. I'm excited to get into it. I'm sorry, Nick.
I'm sorry I said that before. Now I realize we're so hardcore the same in our fandom of Buffy and Angel, but are on complete opposite sides when it comes to why.
Yes. And if you want to follow Slayerfest 90, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch all the videos because now we are doing mostly all video recordings moving forward on YouTube. Please subscribe and give us a good rating wherever you subscribe to us. If you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98. If you want to support the podcast, you can join our Patreon where you get access to our Discord. We do like semi-monthly Zooms. We're going through X-Men and Batman the Animated Series. We finished Buffy Season 3 for its 25th anniversary, and we'll be doing Season 4. If you want to follow me on social, I'm at Ian X Carlos. Angela, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the IG at Angela MFN Rockstar, and then I've got a link tree, and that'll take you everywhere else you need to be.
I just recently signed up for a link tree for Slayerfest. It is a lot easier.
I love a link tree.
Yeah. Colin, where can everyone find you?
I'm on the various socials at csmith03.
And Nick, where can everyone find you?
I'm behind the scenes grinding away in preparation for FlameCon. That's at FlameCon on all the socials. This is our 10th year of a queer focus. We're 10. Oh. We're a teenager. Oh. So FlameCon is this August 17th and 18th at the Sheraton Times Square in New York.
Is it sold out yet? Okay, because
gays don't buy tickets until like 2 days before.
Yeah, what
are you doing this weekend?
Every fucking live show, it's like, oh my god, no tickets have sold, and then like 2 days before, all of them start selling. I'm like, oh right, okay, great.
Yeah. You got time, but everyone else, come on through.
So yeah, I think I might try to go because I have this new. Not that everyone needs to hear this, but I have new portable mics, and I brought them to HellmouthCon, and like. Literally so easy. You don't set up anything. You just plug it into your phone and hit the button, and it records.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Sounds easier than an answering machine.
it is. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.